Hello everyone and welcome to our post-Geekout reaction for Doctor Strange. Now, for anybody who is new to this channel, the post-Geekout reactions are not reviews. The review for this is going to be going up tomorrow. In the reviews, I sit down and I write down everything that I want to think of, but also I make sure I don't put in there any spoilers. The post-Geekout reaction is just our open and honest thoughts about what we just watched, and that includes full spoilers. So if you have not yet seen Doctor Strange, and you don't want anything spoiled for you, then click off the video now, come back later when the actual official review is up, and if the actual review already is up, then I will have that little card thing pop up in one of these corners, wherever it is. I get my lefts and rights confused when I'm doing these. But yes, I'm Aaron, this is Michelle.
Hello.
So, we're just going to give you our thoughts on Doctor Strange, and I gotta say just right off the bat, this is one of the most enjoyable Marvel movies I've seen, and if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know I am a huge fan of the Marvel films. I think that they have yet to actually make a bad movie. They've made a couple that were just, alright, whatever. They've made a couple that's like, it's kind of a mess. It wasn't as good as the first one. But I don't think they've actually made a bad movie yet. So I think that they have an incredible success rate. This, yeah, I would put this in their, I don't know if I put it in their top 5, but it's
definitely
close.
top 10.
Oh, well, they have what, 14 movies? That's not hard to do. But I mean, it's close to top 5. Yeah, this was a really enjoyable film. In fact, I think you liked it even more than me. Like, you were very energized coming out of that theater.
Well, the thing is, I knew absolutely nothing about Doctor Strange coming in this, so I just kind of want, like, a blank slate. So fill this in for me. I want to know if you can get me engaged as someone who doesn't know. And they did. That's the thing that Marvel does really well. They, like, introduce, like, newcomers into these characters that have been around for a while, but not everyone is known, and they do, like, a great job introducing them and getting to know them and building them up and so forth.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is very new reader friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, it is there for the mass audiences. I think that has a lot to do with the magic of Disney. Like, Disney, like, I keep thinking, how the heck does Marvel have such a good success ratio with their films? And then I think, well, they work with Disney. Look at Disney's success ratio with, like, their princess films, like, or just their animated films in general. Like, how many bad Disney animated films are there? It's like, 1 out of every 10 is not good. It's like, yeah, these are people who know how to make entertaining movies. One of the complaints that I have heard a lot of people saying, though, is that, well, yeah, they made this and it was just an entertaining kind of popcorn film, but, you know, you're dealing with Doctor Strange, some big mystic guy, you have the opportunity to go out there and do something so much bigger. You have the opportunity to make a completely different type of film, and I semi-agree with them on that, because, yes, this does feel like a superhero origin story, and Doctor Strange, he is a mystic who deals with, you know, everything beyond the realm of rational thought. I feel like you could have made it feel a bit more different, a bit less like, you know, a superhero film and like something brand new. But at the same time, to all those people out there who keep going, well, this is just, you know, it's another formulaic Marvel film, I think this is one of their least formulaic films yet. Like, I would say Civil War was probably their least formulaic film. This one, again, there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm like, this is not how it goes down in the other Marvel films. And we're jumping all around here. But as I said, we are going to get into spoiler stuff, and this is your last opportunity to tune out from spoiler stuff. But, like, with the relationship between him and... this is one of the complaints that I have to make about the film, is that I don't think that his love interest was all that memorable. Not the actress herself, I'm just saying, like, the character. In fact, I don't even remember what the character's name was, but... in most Marvel films, if they have a relationship, then they would have kind of hooked up, or would have been like Thor, where it's like, well, we have to be separated, but we'll come back together again. In this one, he flat out goes like, yeah, listen, I care about you, but I can't be with you because this is what I have to do now. And it really has a feeling of finality to it. It has a feeling of like, yeah, no, they're not hooking up in the next film. Like, I would be shocked if she even pops up again in the next film. And also, like, going against the formula that they typically have, I felt like the final battle was very different from what we get. Because normally, all these films, they have to end with a big, giant, massive blowout. But this one did not feel like the other ones. Like the whole thing about time reversing during the fight. I've never seen something like that. Never seen a battle where stuff isn't being blown up, it's being brought back together. I think that was actually genius.
That was like very interesting because, you know, when you do a regular battle with things exploding, you know that things are going to fly at you, but when something is flying backwards, you don't know where it came from.
Yeah, exactly. And like they do interesting stuff with that, like when they throw Mads Mikkelsen into the wall and the wall reforms around him and he's trapped in there. It's like, that's actually a genius way to work with this. And even when it gets to the final battle against Dormammu, is like, dude, this is not like a battle of might. This is not a battle of punching each other. This is not like a physical strength contest. It is a battle of wits. Doctor Strange is going up against something he cannot beat with his power, so he has to beat him with his mind. That's exactly how a magical battle should happen. That's exactly how Doctor Strange should defeat Dormammu. So I love that the climax of this whole film is not like Doctor Strange summoning out some huge power to take down Dormammu. It's he figures out a trick, and he beats him with that trick. So yeah, I actually thought that was really cool. And also, one other thing that I think this goes against the formula of most other Marvel films is that in all these Marvel films, they will like kill the villain or they'll kill tons of henchmen. And to all those people out there who are DC fans and you got really mad at people being offended by Man of Steel and saying like, well, look at all the destruction in this, or how could Superman kill the villain at the end of that? To all the people out there who then point at Marvel and went, well, how many times did they kill the villains in their films? It's not even close to the same thing. And I'll tell you why. It's because the DC films brag about how serious they are, how this is a real world take on these characters. Like, all right, that's fine. You want to do that, go ahead, but that means I'm going to judge you in a serious manner. I'm going to judge you in a real world manner. And judging you in the real world, Batman is murdering tons of people in your film. In the Marvel films, yeah, they kill henchmen, but it's like Thor dropping an anvil on one of their heads. It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like, they're meant to be bright and uplifting and fun, so you don't stop for a second and go, oh my god, look at all the destruction of this. I love that in this freaking movie. Doctor Strange, he kills one of the henchmen, like some unnamed henchman of no importance at all. And I love that when Doctor Strange comes back to it, it's not like, well, he's taken care of, and like they never mention him or see him again. Doctor Strange comes back, sees the body of the man he just murdered, closes his eyes, does the little pulse thing, and then he comes in and goes, I am a doctor. I took an oath to not do that, to never let that happen, and I swear I'm never going to let anyone else die again. I'm not going to kill someone. I don't care what the stakes are. I was like, that is a conversation that has never been in any of the Marvel films. So I love that this film finally had that conversation. They finally kind of acknowledged this stuff happens in our movies. This is the hero who should not be doing that. So there are a lot of ways in which this does go against the formula. But at the same time, it does feel like a superhero origin story, and I kind of do have to agree with people that's like, yeah, it kind of, with Doctor Strange, it didn't have to feel like that. You could have done something a little bit different. But aside from that, this is an insanely entertaining film. Like, the comedy in this, like, I knew it was going to be dramatic. I knew it was going to be, like, big and amazing with all the effects. I didn't know how funny this movie was going to be. Like, I do not think of comedy when I think of Benedict Cumberbatch, although every single time I've seen him in, like, interviews and such, he's a very funny guy. Just when you have that voice, nobody wants to cast you in funny roles. So, yeah, I think that the writing was incredibly witty in this, and I think that all the actors were really able to pull it off. I love the back and forth between Doctor Strange and Wong, which I love that both the actors for those characters are named Benedict. But that's aside the point. But yeah, I think that they had a great relationship with each other. I actually think that Tilda Swinton had some really good comedic moments in here as well. But aside from that, the drama in here, and also anytime that got dark, like the car crash, that was a horror scene there.
Yes.
Which, yeah, the guy who directed this and the guy who wrote it, the last thing they worked on together was Sinister, which I thought was an amazing horror film. And when you're watching that car crash scene, or even like the opening of this film, where Doctor Strange is prying the bullet out of someone's head, when he got the bullet out, some lady behind us, did you hear her? She just went,
Yeah, I thought it was the guy next to me. It was like several people probably did that.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that was one of the most tense scenes in this movie, and it doesn't have anything to do with superpowers at all. Like,
it's like, yeah, it's emergency surgery scenes always kind of made me queasy because of like, innards and everything, but it's like they actually like did like a really good job not making it too gory or disgusting.
Although whenever they were gory in this, I was shocked by what they got with. Like when you see his hands, holy crap!
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Like Doctor Strange is a guy who got his hands destroyed in this car accident, and it ruined his life. They make you feel that. Like they make you look at this and go, "This is not a thing that he's just going to recover from. This is not something." This is something that if someone wanted to fix, they would have to go to Tibet and find some mystic there who could teach him the magical arts. That's the only way it could happen.
Yeah, it's like, as an artist, they're like, anyone who like has a job that requires them to use their hands a lot, this is a scene that will definitely like resonate with you. It's like, oh god, if anything were to happen to my hands like that, what would I do?
Yeah.
Anything. And that's pretty much what Doctor Strange went through.
Which he has that amazing line after he wakes up and he goes, nobody could have fixed this, and then he goes, I could have. Which the thing is, it speaks to how arrogant he is, because that was his character. And I love that when he was driving around, he's so arrogant that he would actually look at files while driving at night.
Hence the car accident.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you do not feel like, oh, he had this happen to him. It's like, no, he had this coming. But the thing about that line is that when he says that, you're thinking, this guy is that good. We've seen him be this good, so it is possible he could have fixed this. But maybe he couldn't have, but his ego is so big that even when he is there in his most humbled moment, he still thinks, I'm the greatest there ever was, and I could have fixed this, and you guys are all idiots, and you could not actually have saved me. Which makes his turn so good. Like, I think that they did the whole he goes back to the hospital too many times. Like, he goes back to her twice within the course of, like, an hour. And I don't mean an hour of the movie, I mean an hour in, like, the chronological order of this film, of this story. Like, because the third act of this film moves insanely fast, going from here to there to there to there to there. But when he has to go back to the hospital and she has to save his life, I thought that was a great moment. And I think that him taking the Ancient One back there, I think that also was a great moment. It's just you didn't need both of them to happen like that. Like, I think that was a bit of a problem. But I think that it was important for him to take the Ancient One back there, because when he takes her there and he realizes he can't operate on her, and he has that moment, and it's a very good moment in which it kind of like really speaks to his character and his growth, that he still feels bad that he can't actually do anything. He still feels bad that this has happened to his hand, but he still turns to that guy who he called a moron at the beginning of the film and went, you're gonna have to do this. And like, he's willing to now trust other people. He's willing to now recognize that other people do have talent and skills. Wow, I was complaining that this movie jumped around too much. We've been jumping around like crazy in this.
Well, this isn't a movie. This doesn't have like a significant plot.
There is no plot to the post-Geekout reactions. There is no cliffhanger ending. To be continued on the next one. But yeah, that was a problem that I had with this film, is that I felt it moved way too fast. I really wanted to get to know Doctor Strange more before the accident, and then when he started training, like, he goes like that. Like, and don't get me wrong, they come in and say, listen, he's got a photographic memory, he can remember every single line of text that he's read, so of course he can go through these books quickly, and of course they also come in and say, well, you're mastering this so quickly, it's almost like you have some kind of a connection to the mystical forces already, which, okay, you need to give him some kind of a reason why he's the chosen one, why he's the one who can actually do all this stuff. I fully understand that. However, it really feels like he was there for a month, maybe, and he's instantly this good. I need to see, like, seasons changing. I need to see, calendar days flipping by. I need to see
snow falling or something like that.
Yes, like a scene of him training in the snow, and I don't mean him getting sent to Mount Everest. I mean, but again, that scene there is kind of encapsulates my problem, and what I'm trying to say is that I think it's a great idea that they just abandoned him there in Everest and said, hey man, sink or swim. You gotta figure out how to use that thing to get back here. You gotta figure out how to open up portals right now or else you're gonna die. And I thought it was great seeing them think about, but he's like, but then when it shows him, he's like, and then all of a sudden, like, he can do it. It's like, no, I need to get like internal thoughts. I need to hear him like talking to himself. I need to see like images flashing before his eyes of like what his inspiration is to just give into this. Like, give me something, because it just feels like he was like, oh, now I get it. Bam.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned before. Yeah, it's like when. All right, let's start over.
I'm not the only one who has problems talking on these.
All right, but it's like, yeah, it does seem a bit rushed at parts. Like in the beginning, like in the car accident, I thought like he was on his way to a meeting. I thought they were going to show him at the meeting and show his character more.
That's what
and then after the meeting, that's when he got into the car accident.
Like he does something really dickish at the meeting, and it's like that moment where it's like, oh, well, no one's going to forgive you for this. And he's like, I don't need any of you. And then he goes out there.
Yeah, I thought that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it took me by surprise when he just like got rammed on his way. So.
Although in all fairness, maybe it was supposed to take us by surprise, because I knew it was coming, and I still was like, holy but one small thing about that, I did really enjoy that when he was going over the cases that he could talk about, all of them were kind of like science fiction-y stuff. Like one of them said, yeah, this person was in an experimental suit of armor. It's like, wow, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has now gotten to a point in which it really is like Marvel Comics, where it's like, no, weird stuff is happening all the time. Tony Stark is not a rarity anymore. These guys are out there. So I thought that was actually really cool. In fact, I was listening to those for like Easter eggs, like, who could that be? Who could that be? I think they were just making them up, but considering that the guy who wrote this is a massive comic book fan, I would not be shocked if they were like really obscure references that I didn't get.
Like, speaking of, like, references and cameos, like, what book was Stanley reading?
I was trying to figure that out, too. It's like, it had to, like, I caught it for a brief second, but I was like, I don't recognize that book. So, yeah, I don't know what that was.
Like, if anyone out there knows, just leave a comment.
Yeah, like, as I was saying, my biggest problem is that this film goes too fast, and yeah, like seeing him training, yeah, I need to get a sense that this was taking place over the course of years, even. Like, give me the sense that this guy's been there forever. And I
Give us a training montage.
Well, no, that's what it was, but the training montage has no sense of time. But I think that a really good way that they could have done that would be with the emails, because they say that he's been sending emails to
Is her name Christine?
Maybe, sure, Christine. That he's been sending emails to her. And we only really see the one when she goes, this is the last time I'll contact you. I need to see, like, multiple emails getting sent, like, over and over again, and him just, like, constantly checking to see if she's responding.
And, like, maybe cut back to her, like, looking at the email and ignoring it or something like that.
Exactly. Like, yeah, there are ways that you could have shown time passing better in this to give us a sense that this isn't just happening. But I don't even think that the people making this film really realized that that was a problem, because the last half of this movie, not even the last act, but like the last half of this movie, moves insanely fast. And I mean, it's literally like, what's this? The Eye of Agamotto. Okay, well now I've learned this. Oh, I can discover these things. It's like, okay, that's cool. But then like Wong comes in there and he's like, how dare you do this? And he's like telling him about why he shouldn't do that. Never takes the eye off of him. Like, I found that so weird. That's like, this is a forbidden thing. Do not pick this up. They come in, find him using it, and then while they're giving him the explanation of everything, they still just let him keep it around his neck. Like, that was so weird to me.
That's actually, like, my little problem with this. Like, the librarians were not very,
They were crap.
Yeah. I mean, your job is to, like, protect these ancient books with spells from being used for evil, and the guy in the very first librarian, like, gets his head chopped off in, like, the first 5 minutes of the movie. He's like, yeah, and then Juan, like, he's supposed to be a badass and everything, but, like, we never see him fight, and when he gets to the fight, he's already dead, and then time goes backwards, and he comes back to life.
Yeah, I wanted to see way more of Wong. In fact, I wanted to see way more of all the people in Hong Kong, because when he says, grab a weapon, he picks up what one of the few Easter eggs I actually did recognize, the Wand of Watum, which is, like, this big magical item in the Marvel Universe. But the director of this film actually shared on Twitter a scene that got deleted out. For any of you Runaways fans, one of the ladies at the Hong Kong one, she pulls out the little wand that Nico uses in Runaways. I think they probably cut that out, because they put that in there before the Runaways got their own show announced, so they're like, oh, well, this now messes with the continuity, and we now don't know how they could get from Hong Kong to here.
Like, I'm wondering, like, how many, like, scenes got cut out due to, like, timing and everything, and if the scenes were put in, like...
This really has been the year of, no man, watch the extended edition.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, Wong, to me, really needed more screen time, but I loved everything he had. And that, to me, is kind of how I feel about this entire film. We needed more, but I loved everything we got.
Yeah.
It just all needed more time, more fleshing out these characters. But I was talking about the last half of this film. It starts with them going, here are the three sanctums. And then the moment that they said, door blows open, there's the villain, they're getting into a fight, Doctor Strange is blown in New York, the Guardian of New York is there, he's instantly killed. Now Doctor Strange has to fight them. Now he's got this magical cape that's flying around him and treating him like a puppy. And then now he's trying to defend them off. He's sending them to other dimensions. He's gotten stabbed. He has to now teleport over to get medical help from Christine. And then all of a sudden he gets into an astral fight. Him and Christine, it pauses for a second for them to have a moment. Then he's back and he's now got them encased in the mirror dimension and all New York is falling in and the Ancient One's there. Oh my god, the Ancient One is using dark magic. The Ancient One is dying. Then they have a nice pause moment for them to talk it over and the Ancient One passes away. Now they're in Hong Kong and oh my god, Hong Kong has already been destroyed. Time is now reversing. The dark dimension is closing up and then it's the big final fight. It's like, this literally, like this, the last half of this film had to have happened in like 2 hours within the film. Like, because it literally is non-stop stuff running around and happening. They really, like, it's shocking to me that the villain of this film, him and Doctor Strange, have one moment to talk. Like, the villain has one monologue with him about why he's doing what he's doing. And again, people always criticize the Marvel films for having such bad villains. We get this villain's origin story off camera. Like, they mentioned, oh, this happened to him. Which is another trend with the Marvel films. They always give the villains their bad origin story off camera. It happened to them over there. But then I was like, all right, well, that's actually, that origin story ties back into Doctor Strange himself. It's a reflection of that. So this could be something good. And then he has a moment to talk to the villain. And Mads Mikkelsen really does only have one monologue in this entire film. It's a damn good monologue. Like, he's acting his ass off. Like, you can see the tears welling up in his eyes as he talks about the pain of losing others and why he wants to do this. And I was like, damn. This guy actually is a pretty good villain. All right, that's it. And I was like, man, if you had given me more of this guy, I could point to him and say he's a good villain. But you didn't give me anything with this guy. Same thing with like his love interest. Christine could have done way more with her. But what she is in there for is great. Like the exchanges between her and Doctor Strange at the beginning of the film when he is just descending into depression, that was fantastic. That scene of like Doctor Strange just throwing her away and her trying to like convince him to not give up and all this, man, it is stunning. Like, they are acting their ass off in that scene. Like, it is shocking to me that this is a film about a dude with glory hands and a magic cape fighting big demons, and they're acting like this is some Oscar-worthy stuff right there in the beginning. But at the same time, yeah, I needed more of her. I needed more of the villain. I needed more of them training. I needed this whole last act to be extended out, not have it just take place over the course of, you know, like an hour. Like, to me, what really sums up that last half of the film is that when he starts fighting them there in the Sanctum Sanctorum, he tries to bring out the little shields on his hands, and they're flickering, like they don't work quite right. I'm like, okay, good. That shows that he hasn't mastered everything yet. He still has training. Then when he goes to fight Dormammu, bam, they're instantly there, and they're huge, and they're working, they're able to fight off this giant demon guy, and I was just kind of like, this is literally like 2 hours later, and you haven't had any time to like stop and focus or train or any of this, but the movie just moves that fast. That to me is my biggest problem with it. However, I still would give this an A, maybe A-, because yes, that is a problem, but everything that we're given in this movie works so damn well. Like, it really is one of those things where I would not have a problem sitting through another half hour of this. And I feel like this movie needed another half hour because I think this film has more to set up and more ground to cover than any other Marvel movie. Like, even Avengers, I don't think had to cover as much ground as this
Right, because it's like, you're literally, like, talking about, like, multiverses where there's, like, parallel dimensions and, like, a lot of mystics and magic going on.
Yeah, you have to introduce, like, this whole new concept to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But even that, most heroes in these movies, like, look at Iron Man, because Iron Man is actually incredibly similar to this film.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them start off with the hero being kind of a jerk, get into an accident. Iron Man then builds the suit, and then he's into like, no, we're turning this company around. We're going to now start doing things right. Builds himself a better suit. He can now go out there. The villain creates a suit. They fight. That's the film. This one starts off as a jerk, gets into the accident, then he has to learn how to deal with the accident. Like, that's when it instantly starts drifting off into something different. He has to learn how to deal with it. He has to find out there's another place that he has to go to deal with it. Goes to that place. Has to get introduced to this whole new crazy concept of magic. Then he has to start training in that. Like with Iron Man, it was like, no, I'm already a genius at this thing that I'm going to be talking about. I just have to figure out how to build it into a suit. Doesn't take him that long, and we buy that because, yeah, he's a genius at this stuff. But here, we now have to see him train with that. Then we have to deal with his relationship. Then we have to deal with this villain and his whole origin
It's like
story.
Doctor Strange is like, he's already a genius, but like...
Not the mystic arts.
No,
yeah.
that's the thing. He's a doctor. He's a neurologist, so...
Damn it, Jim, I'm not a sorcerer, I'm a doctor.
So it's like, it's funny, it's like the moment like the Ancient One like showed him a book of chakras, he just immediately like rolls his eyes.
That whole scene is amazing. Like the whole relationship between him, like getting introduced to this concept of magic, they handled that incredibly well. Like he was just like, this is crap. This is like, what are you even talking about? I saw this in a gift shop. And then that amazing line where she just sends him into the other dimensions and knocks him out of his body and goes, did you see that in a gift shop? It's like, God damn it. Yeah, and Tilda Swinton is so freaking good in this film. But not just because, like, her character is a badass. But, as I said, I didn't know she was that damn funny. I'm so familiar with her being a very serious actress. And she does have serious moments in here. Like, the whole moment when she dies. I think everything in that scene works. Like, the conversation between her and Doctor Strange, I think, is great. I think that it's great that she didn't just die, like, as a prop for him to go, well, now you must be the Sorcerer Supreme. I love that she kind of goes, yeah, listen, here's why I've done everything I've done. Like, you get the sense, like, no, she's had a story in this. Especially with the twist of her actually using dark powers. I'm like, that's actually a great twist I didn't see coming. And I love that she gets that moment to kind of like explain why she's done. I get that, love that she actually got to talk about like, yeah, listen, I can see through time. I've seen this coming for a long time. I love that she gets really emotional when she's like looking at the lightning in slow motion. But at the same time, she still is very wise in that scene. We've seen lots of scenes where like the mentor figure dies in a Marvel film. And I think this one handled it definitely the best. But I was... Speaking of the other people in here, we have yet to talk about Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo. I think he was a little too stiff. Like, he was being serious in this film. Like, the other people were like, we're going to turn in the best performances that we can, but we're going to have fun. He was like, I'm going to get an Oscar for Doctor Strange. Like, that guy was acting his ass off. But I've mentioned that I think that Mads Mikkelsen's character... they screwed up the villain again in this one. Nowhere are they going to screw up Mordo. Because when you stay for the final scene, for the final post-credit scene, which, to me, honestly, the post-credit scene and the mid-credit scene should have been swapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me, the mid-credit scene is the, and here's what comes in the sequel, and the post-credit scene is, and here's how it ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I feel like they should have swapped them. But, yeah, I thought that was... great. We have now had an entire film to set up this villain, which we have never gotten in any of the other Marvel films. But we have now set him up, so we now know his motivations. We now know why he is going to be evil, and we can actually understand it. He actually does have a legitimate good reason to become a villain. He was trained, this is the natural order of things. You do not tamper with these things, or else you could, destroy all reality. And Doctor Strange, and not only did I just find out that my mentor, who I've been looking up to this whole time, has been doing that, and has been screwing around with the dark arts. But now, Doctor Strange just used one of our dangerous weapons in the most least responsible way that could have destroyed everything, and we're applauding him for it. No. If the sorcerers stick around like this, we're going to destroy everything. So I love this idea that, yeah, there's that old saying, every villain thinks that they're the hero of their own story. Of course this Mordo now thinks he's the hero. The heroes are almost destroying reality to save reality. I can totally get behind this guy. And that moment where he comes in and he just cripples the dude again.
Yeah.
And just looks down at him like, yeah, no, you don't get to use magic. Too many sorcerers. And I was like, that is chilling. Like, that, you instantly made me go, Mordo is going to be one of your best villains. Like, this film did pretty well this weekend. I'm glad to hear that because that post-credit scene, like, I love this film. I thought it was a great time. But if you took that post-credit scene out, I'd be like, you know what? This can stand on its own. He already fought Dormammu. That's the biggest guy he can go up against. I don't need to see him, fight Nightmare or one of his other villains. Although I do kind of wish that Shumo Karath had popped up when he was going into the Dark Dimensions, like just there in the background, the giant tentacle eye guy. That's a weird reference for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But with that post-credit scene, I was like, no, I need this villain to be in the sequel. I need a sequel so we can see Chiwetel Ejiofor putting out that Oscar-worthy performance as Baron Mordo. Because, yeah, as I said, him trying to be the nice guy in here with how serious he was, I was like, all right, man, tap it down a bit. I'm glad you're bringing your A game, but come on, man. You take that same level of intensity and put it into the villain who believes that he's righteous, and we can actually kind of understand why he would believe that. That's going to be a great performance. So I am incredibly excited to see that happen. But yeah, is there anything else that we want to talk about? I feel like I covered most of the negatives.
So I kind of want to address the elephant in the room and basically issue the whitewashing. Like I said, I have no previous knowledge of Doctor Strange, but I'm guessing the Ancient One was originally supposed to be Asian.
Yeah, well, A, it's a man in the comics, and B, yeah, it is, he goes to, it's Tibet, I want to say? Yeah, he goes to Tibet, and, yeah, it's Tibetan. Yeah, in fact, when he goes there, everyone except for Baron Mordo is also Asian that he trains with. Except Baron Mordo is also white. Mordo is actually some weird European guy, because back in the 60s, all villains were weird white European dudes.
Well, I think Tumblr and like all the other social media is just like taking that a little bit out of hand because, she's still a great actress and, she dies, so it's not like you're going to be seeing her again and like rubbing it in your faces or anything, so.
Well, here's the thing.
Unless you know something that I don't.
Well, no. But here's the thing. And I'm, of course, not Asian, so I cannot speak to this coming from any kind of a personal way. But the thing is, Asian actors and actresses are completely underrepresented in the media. And I feel like this is one of those opportunities where, yeah, she was great in this. Yeah. I absolutely loved her in this. However, I fully understand people being upset about this because here you have an opportunity for an Asian actor to be a big central character, and they do take that away from you. And Marvel, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, it is too white. It's not as bad as a lot of people say, simply because they are actually taking the time to actually put out there a lot of people of color. They're putting out there a lot of characters of color. However, none of them are starring characters. They're always sidekicks. And there's only been like 2 Asian characters. And one of them is the guy in Thor whose name I can't remember because he had like 3 lines in all 2 movies. So I fully understand people being upset about this. And I don't really, have nothing, there's no but coming to that. I fully understand people being upset about this. She did an amazing job in this role. It was a great character. I think that she was excellent. However, I feel like this is something that Marvel needs to address. This is something that Marvel needs to look at the response that this got, and they need to realize it is time that we do start actually focusing on giving more opportunities to pretty much all characters of color. We do have Black Panther coming up, and they have come out and said 95% of the cast is going to be black, which, way to go, excellent. Luke Cage was great, but there's more than just one race of other people
Yeah.
out there aside from white people. So I do think that, you know, hey man, Mark Ruffalo is not going to be in another Hulk film. Maybe start setting up Amadeus Cho. Maybe they have also said they're going to introduce Silk into the Spider-Man film. Excellent, another great new Asian American character. So yeah, I'm not coming in here and saying like, hey man, the movie's good and you got Wong over there, so just forgive it. I'm not going to say that.
No.
But at the same time, actually no, I have no but. But at the same time, all I can really do is judge this film for the film that it gave me, for the quality of the movie, and I can separate my feelings towards the conduct and the casting that went into this film from the final product itself. Mm-hmm. But don't make any mistake, my opinion on how much I absolutely love this film does not change that I do understand why people are upset about this, and I do feel like Marvel needs to start taking some steps to include more people that aren't, aside from, you know, just making a Black Panther film. You need to go the extra step. I was about to say, like, look at DC, and I was like, wait a minute.
Wait. Well,
they made Aquaman Hawaiian, so... Wow, DC hasn't done aside from that. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That's me shifting the blame. That is me absolutely shifting the blame, because as somebody who does not like the DC films and someone who does like the Marvel films, that's me just going, hey guys, no, look, they're being worse. Like, no, everybody's up.
No.
That's the thing. In the end of the day, everybody needs to improve.
Right.
Everybody needs to do better. So I think that's important that you brought this up, because, yeah, I want to make it very clear. I love Tilda Swinton in this role. Does not mean I don't understand why people are upset about this. Mm-hmm. So anywho,
now that that's out of the way.
Yeah, now a real magic trick. Watching us try and get back into a lighter tone. Yeah, so aside from that, I do feel like this is one of Marvel's strongest films. I believe that it's got pacing problems. However, yeah, aside from the pacing problems, I feel like everything else in this film is really just banging on all cylinders. I think that this is one of their most competently made films. And a while that, we have not mentioned this yet, the special effects. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, if this film does not win the Oscar for Best Visual Effects, I'm going to come out here and say that the Oscars just don't like the Marvel films. I know the Emmys don't like the Marvel shows because Jessica Jones didn't get nominated for anything, and goddamn how did that happen. I'm really mad about that. But yeah, if this doesn't win for visual effects, nothing's going to beat this. I'm saying it right now. We got 2 more months left in this year. Nothing is coming out that is going to be a better visual effect than what we saw in here. And to anybody out here who's like, well, I saw the buildings folding in the trailer, so it's just going to be like Inception.
No, there's way more than just that.
Not even close. Inception is wah, with a building. This film is wah, 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 kaleidoscope vision. They turn the entire island of Manhattan into a kaleidoscope. You see the buildings folding around each other, and they're falling into holes surrounded by the buildings with new, like, pathways opening up before them. They're, like, running down a block, and then the camera just shifts to show, oh, they're not running down a flat surface. They're running down one pathway that's up here,
like
and
optical
over here.
illusions and everything. It's like an MC Escher gone insane.
That's the thing. That's what Doctor Strange always looked like. That is, Doctor Strange drew lots of inspiration from, like, MC Escher stuff. And also, like, Steve Ditko, the guy who really, like, helped create Doctor Strange and give him that trippy look, whenever he went into, like, some weird dimension, it was always big, giant planets with tentacles coming off them and, like, weird rainbow colors. When he's going into the other dimensions, that's exactly what it was. They captured all that. But yeah, I can't, and we already mentioned the final scene in which time is reversing during the battle. That's something that I have never seen in one of these types of movies. It was mind-blowing. This is one of the few times I will actually tell you, pay for 3D. Like, Marvel does post-3D conversion with all their films, and it never looks good. You will see, like, one scene which is like, oh, okay, Hawkeye jumped right there, and it kind of came off the screen for a bit. In this film, when they're not going into other dimensions and things aren't folding, yeah, you're going to be sitting there like, I can't even tell that this is in 3D. The moment stuff starts doing that, it is totally worth the price of admission. We didn't see this in IMAX because I kind of get a little bit nauseous at IMAX films. I kind of want to go back and watch this one in IMAX. So yeah, I really kind of do, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have like a massive like freak out in the middle of it. But yeah, this was absolutely.
I just kind of have like one question.
Yeah.
But like, definitely one of my favorite characters in this movie is the Cape. like,
Your favorite character in this film is the inanimate object that acts like a dog.
No,
It's not
it's
inanimate,
like
actually. No, it's
no,
actually...
it's like he reminds me of the carpet from Aladdin.
Oh,
like,
it does. Oh,
yeah. So
wow,
it's-
Disney.
But it's and like I think that's really great how they're like able to like bring out a personality and like this just literally just a cloth. Like it doesn't even have a face or arms or anything. But it's supposed to be a magical levitating cape, but when Doctor Strange goes into the mirror world, he keeps falling. The cape doesn't do anything, and
It slows him down. I know, like, I thought that for a second. I was like, how is he falling that far and he doesn't just get liquefied when he hits there? And then, like, there's a moment which you see, like, the cape fluttering out, and I'm like, oh, it's slowing him down. Okay, I get it.
Alright, so like the cape is not able to like respond fast enough, or
No, I just think that, like, he didn't know how to fly with it just yet. I mean, that was the other thing. Like I said, you gotta remember, this movie moves so damn fast. He got this thing on him 10 minutes ago. Like, he doesn't know how to fly with it just yet. That comes maybe half an hour later and suddenly he can fly. It's like, yeah, that is one of the problems I've been bringing up this whole time. Things just, like...
I always thought like the cape just like carried him or something.
No.
Like,
No, it's, yeah. Which that was kind of an interesting choice on their part, because in the comics, the cape is just a cape. Like, it doesn't mean anything. So yeah, I found it kind of interesting that they were like, no, make it likable. But I was like, oh, you know, that's Disney coming in and going, we gotta have something in here that the kids like. There's a reason why Ant-Man had a pet ant named Anthony. There's a reason that Rocket Raccoon got on screen that damn fast. But yeah, that was, you know, again, that kind of goes with like what I've been saying my problems are with this film, is that I love what they did with the cape, but then they're like, oh, the cape has chosen you. How very interesting. I was like, that is interesting. Explain it. Go into it. What's the deal with the cape? Why did it choose him? What's going on here? No, we don't get any of that. Same thing with the Eye of Agamotto, which I find it very interesting in a positive way, that they decide, okay, well, the Eye of Agamotto is going to be one of the Infinity Stones. Although, I was going over it in my head, that screws up the big Infinity Stone spell out Thanos theory that people had. Because for anybody who doesn't know, all the Infinity Stones that we've found so far, the first one was in the Tesseract. In the comics, that's called the Cosmic Cube, but in this one they called it the Tesseract for some reason. T. Then the next one was in that little orb that the Guardians had, and they just called it the Orb. You got O over there. I'm going to spell it out below you here. What were the other ones in? The other one was in Loki's Scepter, S. S goes at the end. Wait, I'm spelling this the opposite direction of how they're going to be. Wait a minute. T. Damn it, I don't know. It's spelling out down there.
we'll fix this in post.
I'm spelling out down there. But basically, and what was the other one? There's a fourth one that's been revealed so far. There was, the Aether. The Aether from Thor. They just called it the Aether, and then it turns out that was one of the cube. Aether begins with an A, so that's the A, so that they were like, okay, there has to be an H, there has to be an N, that's the last two Infinity Stones, it spells out Thanos, and I was like, okay, so what's it gonna be? The Eye of Agamotto has no H or N in that.
Well, it's on a necklace. A necklace starts with N. No, I'm just...
No, actually, that could be it.
Really?
Well, I have to watch it again and see how they refer to it, because like I never even for a second like noticed when they would the orb in Guardians. I was like, yeah, they kept calling it the Orb, but I never once noticed that until someone pointed out this whole it spells it out thing. So yeah, maybe throughout they just kept calling it the necklace. Who knows? Because yeah, they didn't call
I
it
was
anything.
joking around, but
Listen, I'm trying to figure it out because it's like, no way is it a coincidence. Because you've got 4 out of the 6 letters of Thanos in there. You only have 2 more to go. I can't imagine them screwing it up with that. Like, I can't imagine it not being on purpose at that point. Like, no way did you get 4/6 of the way into this thing, all coincidence-wise. So we'll see what the final one is. If it begins with an H or an N, then but maybe if I go back and watch this again, they'll call it like the Horcrux or something, and I wasn't even paying attention. But yeah, so in the end, absolutely love this film. It moves too fast. I would like them to have spread out a little bit more. But aside from that, every single thing in this film works. All the acting is great, all the special effects are great, the sense of humor is great. When it wants to be dramatic, it's dramatic. Everything looks stunning. I love all the characters in here. Just moves too dang fast. But that's like one problem with so many other successes in there.
Yeah, it's like mostly origin stories do tend to like move really fast because it's like we want to get to the action and everything.
I've always said all the Marvel films actually move too fast. That's a problem that I've had with all of them. The first act of every Marvel film is wham bam, you hit the ground running, film, we gotta get this done. After that, they tend to slow down. This is one in which it was like, okay, hit the ground, kind of run, slow down for a second, bam, keep going even faster. So, but yeah, it's like we said, they had to cover way more ground in here than they had to cover in any of the other films. So I understand. Plus, they needed to keep this at the length it was. They couldn't really add more time because this is a huge part. Because who the knows who Doctor Strange is? Like, people were not lining up to see Doctor Strange if the Marvel Cinematic Universe was not a massive success already. So I fully understand why they were like, no. Keep leaning this down. Like, I don't even think that there is like an extra half hour that was shot to this thing, but I guarantee you there was an extra half hour in the script somewhere, so I would be happy to read that and see what it was all about. But still, absolutely worth the price of admission. Even though I don't know if I put this in their top 5 Marvel films, as far as just pure flat out enjoyment that I got from one of their films, I'd put it in top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, it's up there with Guardians and the first Avengers film for just how good it makes you feel while watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like, this is one that I absolutely would be happy to go back and watch again. But let us know in the comments down below how you felt about this movie. As I said, the actual professional review will be coming out hopefully tomorrow, if not, then in the next 2 days. But thank you guys for joining us, and as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy, and come back next time.
Bye.
Bye.